across Enugu State. In Abuja, President Tinubu indicates his intention to reshuffle his cabinet. In business news, CBN announces decision to sell foreign exchange worth $20,000 to BDCs. On the foreign scene, Lebanese Prime Minister implores the UN Security Council to act on Israel's bombardment of his country. Details of these and more coming ahead, and from Enugu, Nigeria to the rest of the world. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Alpha TV News today. My name is Alex Obodo. Details shortly. We begin the news here in Enugu, where the governor, Dr. Peter Mbah, has revealed that his administration is currently executing over 1,000 landmark projects across the state, which could be completed in record time. In addition to ongoing recruitment of 15,000 smart school teachers and skilled workers into the state's workforce. Governor Mbah, who disclosed this on Wednesday in Enugu during a brief chat with some select youths and media practitioners drawn from across the Southeast Zone, who paid a courtesy visit to his office, also stressed that 11,000 new smart school teachers were undergoing recruitment and training process at the Center for Experiential Learning and Innovation in the state. While fielding questions from the curious youths on why his administration was in a haste to develop the state, the governor maintained that his leadership approach was born out of a well-researched, disruptive and innovative model that would radically change the trajectory of governance in the state. The governor also revealed that his administration was presently empowering thousands of traders and smallholder farmers, particularly in rural areas, with seed and startup capital and other technical support as a way of lifting them out of poverty, investing in human capital development and increasing production. In another news, Enugu State government says it has set up plans to enact a legislation that would enable working-class nursing mothers embark on a 6-month maternity leave with pay. The head of service, Kenneth Ugu, made the disclosure when members of the civil society Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria paid an advocacy visit to his office on Wednesday. Ugu said to give a legal backing to the proposed 6 months maternity leave with pay in Enugu State has been advocated by civil society Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria. The 6 months paid maternity leave has been included in the public service rule under review. On his part, the civil society Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria program manager, Dr. Goodness Chidi Ayaun, who led the delegation, explained that the purpose of their visit was to ensure that their commitment to the maternal protection, the implementation of the 6-month paid maternity leave, establishment of crèches, as well as the establishment of nutrition departments in MDAs is maintained. And with domestic violence on the rise in Nigeria, residents of Aba have reacted to the increase of domestic violence, highlighting some of the reasons for the increase. Our correspondent in Aba, Chibuikem Agomba, now reports.
Domestic violence in Nigeria has reached alarming levels, with over 30% of women having experienced abuse, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Being one of the federating units in the country, Abia State is part of these worrisome statistics and therefore not isolated.
Domestic violence we are talking about is nothing but the way children and women, especially because they are the most affected, are being maltreated, both in the issue of marriage and as a maid. That's the domestic violence we are talking about.
Mr. Atulobi highlighted how men are being marginalized in the issue of domestic violence.
Thank you very much. Like I was saying before, in speaking of domestic violence, men as well as women marginalized. The society and nature generally tends to protect the women. And then that of men are being taken to the minimum. In most cases, what comes up actions and reactions at home are not being considered.
He also stated some of the reasons for domestic violence.
What comes up actions? Whenever a man rises, he is being accused and being targeted as a person who has involved in domestic violence. The national issue we're talking about, men are involved too. Trying to run your family, trying to take care of your family, trying to make up bills, mounts pressures on men. And then if you have a woman who's considerate, an inconsiderate woman who believes it's your responsibility to take care of family, it runs into problems.
Chief Wanganga also noted some of the reasons for the rise in domestic violence.
Exactly. Domestic violence is on the rise because of most of our people have indulged themselves in drinking alcohol, smoking, and other things that will hide them. Immediately, when they involve themselves in this domestic violence, after some few minutes or few hours, they regret their actions. So these are some of the things that have been encouraging domestic violence.
One of the residents also stated some of the effects of domestic violence on the victims.
It has on them is that it makes them always to be in a frightened state. They don't have freedom. Wherever they are, you see them being like somebody that is always under shock. So that's why we are fighting against them, so that they will have a freedom living of life. They will know that they also live and exist like other ones. So that is the most impact. It makes them, at times, they suffer sickness that they will not come out of it till the end of their life. That's why we are saying that it should not be done that way, that domestic violence should be avoided and abolished in this Abia State and Nigeria at large.
In response, a gender-based desk officer in Ubunabo local government area has introduced several measures, including counseling services for the victims.
The people we do take care of, we guide them, we sensitize them, we protect them, that they will not be exposed. They are not ought to be exposed pertaining to the domestic violence they encountered. They are not to be all that exposed. You tell them that it's not the end of their life. You encourage them. You enlighten them that this of the bad has passed. They will also face their future and go forward, that all hope is not lost.
So, as the issue continues to worsen, greater efforts to educate the public and protect vulnerable groups from further harm are essential. In Aba, Chibike Magomba reporting for Avia TV.
Away from the southeast now to the southwest, where despite recent introduction of premium motor spirit by the Dangote refinery, petrol prices in Lagos have stubbornly fluctuated at 890 naira per litre. This development has sparked a mix of frustration among residents as they asked if the multi-dollar refinery would solve Nigeria's long-lasting oil problems. Afia TV's correspondent in Lagos was in Etiosa, Lagos, and returns the story.
The Dangote refinery, inaugurated with much fanfare, was expected to alleviate the persistent issue of petrol scarcity and high prices by boosting local production and reducing reliance on imported fuel. However, the immediate impact on petrol prices has been less than anticipated. Irrespective of the numerous oversights in the nation's oil sector, residents remain hopeful that the benefits of the refinery will become evident in a short while.
Well, I think it's going to solve it because the whole importation of fuels and all those things, this one we have the largest refinery in the whole world right now with the up-to-date facility. I think it's going to help a lot if the cabals actually allow them to actually function well.
Technically, it's supposed to help curb the whole fuel issue in Nigeria. You know, from the whole conversation of he wants to sell the fuel in dollars and him buying the crude oil in naira, you know, the whole conversation around it is not even making one sure what's going to happen. Because if before now we had Nigeria wanted to actually sell the crude oil in dollars, but they were able to, you know, sell to him in naira. And yes, also he said he wants to sell in dollars. So if he sells in dollars, I don't know, with the fluctuation of dollars, naira, and everything, that means it's going to affect the price of fuel. So it will be fluctuating. So I don't know how it's going to be, but ideally it's meant to help curb the old fuel issue. But with this whole thing, we don't know about. I mean, me, I'm giving my big down to but I hope, I mean, it should. If it doesn't, because importing fuel is more expensive. So this year, why are we, you know, well, anyway, I feel it should.
I think Dangote refinery is actually going to help the situation of Nigeria because if they actually have a true, like a real intention with the state of Nigeria now, and with that we'll have another supply for the fuel. So basically, I think it's going to happen.
I feel like the refinery is going to be a good one because currently with the whole situation of scarcity in the country, I think it's going to be a very good one. Yes, because if there's a lot or at least a few more refineries producing oil, it's going to help to curtail scarcity, and then I feel like that will help in the reduction of prices. And then, because trust me, even in the local market, this scarcity is even affecting the local market. Like, you know, when you go to buy food stuff, you know, from the, you know, buying of stuff, and then you hear people telling you things like, oh, transportation, they couldn't transport waste from one, or goods and commodities from one location to the other because of the inflation in prices of transportation and due to lack of fuel. So if Dangote refinery produces more fuel, it's going to help. Yes, it's going to be a positive one, and it's going to help curtail and maybe reduce the inflation in price, and also make it available for people to use.
The situation continues to evolve, with many Lagos residents closely monitoring developments and hoping for a positive change in the nearest future. In Lagos State, Kingsley Emeka reporting for Afia TV.
Petrol palaver, you must say. It's time for a short break here on the news today. When we'll return, we'll have stories from the national scene. Stay with us.
It's a brand new week and another opportunity for us to gist and me to tell you, bring all the spice, all the things that are hot, trending, and exclusive on social media. Sometimes I know there's constructive criticism. I know that you know how to quote it. So for the people that don't understand, I want to be like, oh, why are you doing this?
Please, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm only doing this because of the money on Facebook.
There are some people you need to just tell the truth brutally. Let it hurt them. Give it hot.
Afia TV official, exclusive every weekday on Afia TV.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
an incompetent means an incompetent person.
Welcome to Afia TV, your go-to channel for excellent news and incredible shows that keeps you IEI, that is, informed, entertained, and inspired.
Need a break?
Ladies and germs, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
Join Choco to vibe and chill on Lunch Break at 2 p.m. for the latest trends in music and entertainment.
Not like I have big money.
Dive into the world of innovation and creativity with Rochelle on Anka.
It means art in English.
Where creative minds and groundbreaking ideas come to life. Tune in every weekday at 8 p.m. Do not miss Afia TV Official, your perfect dose of laughter, where they discuss what is currently trending on social media every day at 5:30 p.m. on Afia TV.
But in this economy, the savings will save you, man.
And that's not all. Stay tuned for more exciting shows on Afia TV. Catch us on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
Do you know that you fit the pity person, make the person they enjoy life faster?
The idea today is the first street fashion show in Nigeria, known as Enugu Street Fashion Show.
This is Ogbe, the voice of the street, where the opinion of a common mind like Monwa and the Gonwa matters right here.
Yeah, I prefer eating outside than cooking now. If you're cooking for your family, it's always cheaper to cook in house. This Indian at your house to buy more town.
I'm not even Ogbe.
This is Ogbe.
You're welcome back to the news today here on Afia TV. We are reaching you live from Enugu, southeast Nigeria. My name is Alex Obodo. President Bola Tinubu has urged an end to Africa's role as a mere exporter of raw materials and minerals, warning that continuing to export unprocessed resources perpetuates poverty and underdevelopment across the continent. Speaking at the Africa Minerals Strategy Group event during the United Nations General Assembly in New York, Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, emphasized the necessity of processing Africa's mineral wealth locally. He pointed out that although Africa holds a substantial share of global mineral reserves, 92% of platinum, 56% of cobalt, and 54% of manganese, it remains heavily dependent on foreign markets for refining and manufacturing products from these raw materials. The Nigerian leader called on African nations to adopt an agenda that prioritizes local value addition, which he sees as crucial to industrializing the continent and driving sustainable economic growth. President Bola Tinubu has indicated his intention to reshuffle his cabinet. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, confirmed this to State House correspondents on Wednesday at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He noted that contrary to insinuations in some quarters, the current government has recorded significant achievements in its quest to transform the economy, of which members of the public are unaware. Onanuga noted that Tinubu has ordered his ministers to ensure they engage the public by publicizing what the government is doing in their various ministries.
As a cabinet reshuffle, let me tell you, I don't have any timeline. The president has expressed his desire to reshuffle his cabinet, and he will do it. I don't know whether he wants to do it before October 1, but he will surely do it. So that's what I will say. He has not given us any timeline when he wants to do it, but he will do it. He has expressed his plan. He wants to do it. He wants to reshuffle. The president actually gave an order to all his ministers to go out there to speak about the activities of his government.
Explaining further the reason for Tinubu's decision, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Strategy, Engagement and Communications, Otega Ogra, said it is based on empirical evidence. Ogra noted that during the retreat that was organized for the ministers shortly after their inauguration in August of 2023, President Tinubu made it clear that there would be periodic reviews of their performance and that the review would guide the president's decision.
Also need to realize that the president's decision to reshuffle is also based on empirical evidence. You know, he has said it when he was doing the retreat for the ministers that it was going to, they were going to have periodic reviews, and the decisions that are extracted from those reviews will be used to make that final decision. I know he's gotten a couple of reports, and as Mr. Onanuga said, when he's ready to do that, I believe he will. There was another thing that was also mentioned in terms of funding for NELFund. Don't forget that recently in the president's speech during the protests, he also ensured that some monies gotten from illegal activities were moved to also fund NELFund.
Recall that the cabinet was constituted in August of 2023. Meanwhile, the wife of Nigeria's president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has expressed her unwavering commitment to the fight against tuberculosis. She made this known on Wednesday at a side event of the United Nations General Assembly organized by a non-governmental organization, Stop TB Partnership. The First Lady expressed optimism that with concerned efforts and concerted efforts, tuberculosis can become a thing of the past. Mrs. Tinubu, who decried the high burden of TB in Nigeria, which is one of the highest in the world, pointed out sadly that countless lives are affected and about 125,000 lives are lost annually. Also speaking, the Executive Director, Stop TB Partnership, Dr. Lucy Aditu, urged all those present to build on each other's strengths as individual countries to fight TB. The Nigeria Senate has confirmed Justice Kudirat Kekereekun as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. She is the 23rd person to hold this esteemed position and the second female to do so. Justice Kekereekun's confirmation followed a request from President Bola Tinubu, who nominated her for the role. The Senate, led by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, suspended its rules to allow her to answer questions during the confirmation hearing. During the screening process, lawmakers questioned her on various judicial matters.
That recently, very senior members of the bar, we all know them. They are fond of being on politics today. They were commenting on cases that are before either the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court. And this wasn't the case in the past. We are saying under your tenure,
yes,
will there be a procedure where you bring some of them to justice? Because they ought not to, because their comments and their analysis tend to influence the final outcome of those cases. And in most instances tend to bring about injustice. Because they are not aware, they are not saying of the facts that are before their lordships.
Yes.
But they will go out there, instead of arguing the cases in the court, they will go and sit down on television and be arguing the cases on television.
She emphasized the importance of maintaining judicial integrity and adhering to ethical standards.
I think the first thing in giving my CV, I said one of the things that I'm known for is integrity. I'm also known for being strict on discipline. And therefore, in order to ensure that the integrity of the judiciary is maintained, I will ensure that the code of conduct is fully complied with. I will ensure that there is zero tolerance for corruption.
Justice Kekereekun argued that there should be limits on cases reaching the Supreme Court, particularly regarding pre-election matters. She stressed that such cases should conclude at the Court of Appeal. Additionally, she highlighted the need for timely handling of petitions by the National Judicial Council. Justice Kekereekun also called for measures to insulate
I am of many matters should terminate at the Court of Appeal, especially interlocutory appeals. There's also a situation where pre-election matters come all the way to the Supreme Court, whereas in national and state assembly elections, the substantive elections terminate at the Court of Appeal. I think all pre-election matters should terminate at the Court of Appeal. So many matters need to terminate at the Court of Appeal so that the Supreme Court can really live up to its designation as a policy court.
After nearly 3 hours of questioning, the Senate voted in favor of our confirmation.
Put the question. Will the Senate approve the nomination for confirmation of Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria is hereby approved.
Before this appointment, Justice Kekereekun had been acting as CJN since August 23rd, following Justice Kayode Ariwola's retirement. She has served as a Supreme Court Justice since 2013 and is recognized for her significant contributions to Nigeria's judiciary. And the People's Democratic Party PDP caucus in the House of Representatives has rejected the outcome of Saturday's governorship election in Edo State. The caucus made their stance clear on Wednesday while speaking with National Assembly correspondents. Speaking on behalf of the caucus, Kingsley Chinda, minority leader of the House, rejected the outcome of the election that took place in Edo State. Chinda, who was flanked by other caucus members, frowned at the brazen display of avarice and desperation against the Edo electorates and democracy.
The PDP caucus of the House of Reps, we just rose from a meeting and we x-rayed the election in Edo State and the upcoming election in Ondo State. And we want to say clearly that we're not very impressed, we're not happy, we're not satisfied with the outcome of the Edo elections. And we have also agreed that we're going to take legislative steps to begin to correct some of those anomalies. And we're looking forward to Ondo election. And we want to also call on the government, on all authorities concerned, that Ondo election should be taken more seriously, because we're also going to take it more seriously. And then we would pray and wish that what has happened in the past should not happen again. Nigeria should begin to progress democratically. We should not be retrogressing. We should not be talking about things like results, swapping, rigging, and all that in our electoral system. So, but as parliamentarians, we want to assure Nigerians that we'll continue to do our best to take legislative measures to continue to better the system.
The federal government has approved the increase of core members' monthly allowance to 70,000 naira with effect from July 2024. According to a statement signed by the NYSC's Acting Director of Information and Public Relations, Caroline Embu, the approval was contained in a letter from the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission with the date of 25th September 2024 and signed by the chairman, Mr. Ekbonta, in line with the enactment of the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024. In our statement, Embu stated that the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Yeshau Ahmed, had paid an advocacy visit to the chairman, where he solicited for a robust welfare package for core members. The DG thanked the government for the gesture, noting that it will not only bring succor to the corpers, but also boost their morale to do more in service to the nation. And now to business stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima has revealed that Nigeria is interested in hosting the African Central Bank. He made the revelation in New York during a meeting with the African Union chairperson, Mr. Moussa Faki. The vice president, who emphasized that Africa has come of age to establish its Apex Bank, highlighted the need for consolidation of democracy as well as peaceful collaborations in Africa. For his part, the AU chairperson, Mr. Faki, thanked Nigeria for its role in sustaining democracy in Africa, adding that the AU will continue to ensure that African stability and peace remain a priority for the body. Away from that now, the Federal Executive Council is proposing an amendment to the National Identity Management Commission Act number 23, 2007, to allow for foreigners living in the country to be issued the National Identification Number. The Special Advisor to President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, revealed this while briefing State House correspondents at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, on Wednesday. Onanuga noted that FEC also proposed the Economic Stabilization Bill to pave the way for the taxing of foreigners living and working in Nigeria. He explained that the two proposed legislations are aimed to expand the scope of restorable persons or registrable persons to include foreign individuals with a taxable presence for taxable source of income in Nigeria and make provisions for the mandatory use of national identification number for transactions which are relevant for tax administration and for related matters. Still in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced its decision to sell foreign exchange worth $20,000 to eligible bureau de change operators across the country. This was disclosed by the Apex Bank in a statement signed by the Acting Director of Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. W.J. Kaya, on Wednesday. Dr. Kaya said the sales will help operators meet retail market demand for eligible invisible transactions. Meanwhile, the latest intervention of the central bank comes hours after the naira dropped in value against the dollar to 1,658 naira 48 kobo in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange on Tuesday. It's time for another break. When we return, the news continues.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
Want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
You're welcome back to the news today here on Afia TV. We are live from Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. My name is Alex Obodo. To the foreign scene now, Australia has urged an estimated 15,000 of its citizens excuse me, living in Lebanon to leave, flagging a risk Beirut airport may close and the difficulty of evacuating large numbers if the situation worsens. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said his government had made contingency plans that could include evacuations by water, but declined to give details. Meanwhile, Israel has widened its airstrikes in Lebanon on Wednesday, and at least 72 people were killed. And Israel's military chief said a ground assault was possible. Recall that in 2006, Australia evacuated over 5,000 of its citizens and another 1,200 foreigners from Lebanese ports, with the cooperation of Syria, Jordan, Cyprus, and Turkey during a war between Hezbollah and Israel. In the meantime, the United States, France, and some of their allies have reportedly called for an immediate 21-day ceasefire across the Israel-Lebanon border, while also expressing support for a ceasefire in Gaza. The statement, which came from the US, France, the European Union, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, among some other partner nations, called on the government of Israel and Lebanon to endorse the temporary ceasefire immediately. According to the report, opening up diplomatic space in Lebanon during this 21-day period will hopefully also open up space for potential for a ceasefire in Gaza, which has remained elusive for months. And finally, on the international front, Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati has implored members of the UN Security Council to act as Israel's bombardment of his country has now killed at least 620 people in the 3 days since Monday. Mikati said de-escalation is urgently needed as Israel's aerial bombardment, attacks on electronic devices, and threatened ground invasion have spread terror and fear among the Lebanese citizens in full view of the world. Meanwhile, an urgent meeting of the Security Council was called on Wednesday by France, with the French Foreign Minister taking the opportunity to unveil efforts with the United States to reach a temporary pause in fighting between Israel and Hezbollah. And in the world of sports, Enyimba of Aba and Rangers International, who were in action in the continent, returned to league action for their outstanding matches. Enyimba secured the maximum points of struggling Lobby Stars in Aba with a comfortable 2-1 victory. Chinedu Ufere and had opened the scoring for the People's Elephants in the 14th minute before Eze Ekutozeam doubled their lead from the sport 2 minutes later. Meanwhile, in Lagos, Rangers International got the better of debutants Ikorodu City FC by a lone goal. Ugweze Chinemerem's headed goal from Kazim Ogunleye's corner was enough to give Rangers the maximum points away from home. And lastly, on the world of sports, the Nigeria Football Federation has felicitated the Super Eagles and Nuns forward Moses Simon for making his 150th appearance in League 1. The 29-year-old, who is one of Nigeria's longest-serving League 1 players, is being recognized after reaching a career milestone in the French top flight this past weekend. In their 1-1 draw with Angers, Simon picked up his 150th cap in League 1, setting up his side's only goal scored by Johan Lepono. That assist was his 29th for the club, making Simon the top contributor for the Le Canaries in that department, breaking the record previously held by Emiliano Sala. The news will continue with discussions when we return from this break, as we explore and find out what's next for the newly elected chairmanship candidates who participated in the elections in Enugu State on Saturday. Stay with us.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on your ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing good. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do for it.
It's a brand new week and another opportunity for us to gist and me to tell you, bring all the spice, all the things that are hot, trending and exclusive on social media. Sometimes I know there's constructive criticism. I know that you know how to quote it. So for the people that don't understand, I want to be like, oh, why are you doing this?
Please, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm only doing this because of the money on Facebook.
There are some people you need to just tell the truth brutally. Let it hurt them. Give it hot.
Afia TV official, exclusive every weekday on Afia TV.
Time check is 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and Go TV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast size. The frequency of breastfeeding determines the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show point.
You're welcome back to News Today, the discussion segment here. And of course, we are taking a look at the task before the new local government chairman-elect. They haven't been sworn in, but already I suspect everyone seems to be looking forward to what they have to offer in the next few weeks, the next few months, with everything that's working for them now. A lot of people say you have autonomy financially, your money will come straight to you, that now the ball is on their court. But is it really? Are we supposed to expect a lot from them? By the way, what are we supposed to expect from this new set of local government chairmen when they are sworn in? Are they like the proverbial Ononibakos? Because now the monies for the local government will come to the local government. No longer the story about a joint account, whatever it is called, that the governors will tell them, before you withdraw it, this will happen. No one actually accepts that happens. So everyone says it's a rumor, but then the Supreme Court says you get your money directly. I am joined this afternoon to have a discussion on this by Mazi Bismarck Orji. Mazi Bismarck Orji is the convener of the Southeast Good Governance Project, SEGOP. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be here once again.
All right, so I'm sure you witnessed the elections on Saturday, and they've been given their certificate of return.
Exactly.
So meaning that what's remaining is for them to be sworn in. So when they are sworn in, what are the things you expect to start seeing in the next few months?
Thank you. Firstly, I don't expect them to have any excuses. Well, this time around, they should be aware that they don't have any excuse not to deliver. Like before, when there was a joint account, you know, of course, the governors somehow ran the office for them. But this time around, they don't have any excuse for delivery. And for those whom I want to play with their funds, they should look at Yahaya Bello and he's playing hide and seek with the EFCC, and they know that theirs, because they're not even covered by immunity. Yes. So they should deliver. And as the saying goes, your time starts now. As soon as they are sworn in, their time starts counting. Because most people, when they are not here, they don't know that power is transient. So you may not have a second chance to deliver or to impress. So once you are sworn in, in fact, from now to the time you are sworn in, I believe they should start to assemble their economic team, you know. Because one problem I have in Enugu is that Enugu seems to be a one-city state. You know, much is not happening elsewhere apart from Enugu Aban. That's why sometime in the past, the governor or government said, for you to be a local government chairman, you must live within your local government. I think it makes sense. Yes, I should come into effect so that they will, because if you are, for instance, I'm from Maniri, if the chairman is living, he comes from Uduma, is living there, then he will try to beef up security. He try to make sure that there's power and other things. But whereby they all stay in Enugu and they go to work and come back. That's why they won't care much about trying to deliver the dividends of democracy. So I'm saying they don't have any excuse not to deliver. Yes, and to whom much is given, much is expected. Now that they are forced coming to them directly, we expect them to, like, say again, a local government as Aniri. Aniri means food land. But we want to, like, if you go to the market here, you have Oduma rice, have okra, what have you, you know. But I think it's time we take it a step further. Well, since I was born, of course, we've always had food and all whatnot, and now we have access routes, you know. I want to see agro-based industries in Aniri. It should be the job of the local government chairman, not the state government per se. Of course, maybe they can come in as per Katapa funding. Likewise, if you look across the state, you know, going to Oji River, because of its proximity to Oka, you know, Uguoba, where the government demolished all those shanties from the Gariki. I expect to see new housing estates there. From Uguoba, one can even trek over to Oka, okay? From Uguoba, here to Enugu is like 40 minutes drive. So I expect to see beautiful new housing estates by the Enugu State Housing Corporation and also the Oji River local government. And thank God the person who is there is a development expert, Mr. Greg Anyebudike. You know, he has worked with so many international agencies. So I expect to see an Oji River that works, you know, because he has that advantage of being very close to Anambra and Oka, so that people can, just like people who stay in Asaba and go to work in Onitsha, people should also be able to stay in Uguoba and go to work in Oka. So we expect to see that difference. Likewise, if you also look at Enugu East, my idea is that, thank God now, because our government means business, is not talking of dualizing the Ugogo Opi highway. But when that is done, what I had expected before, which I also expected with the help of the local government chairman along that corridor, I mean Enugu East, Ibuetiti, and Nsukka, is to bring Nsukka to Enugu, thereby making Enugu and Nsukka one continuous urbanization. You can call it a megalopolis. You know, I don't see why people can't stay in Nsukka or Ibuetiti and go to work and go back every day. It's a function of what? Development. And that's where I think Peter Mba is taken by his disruptive governance. But it needs that because like I said here before the election, that one expects the chairman who come in to be able to key into the governor's disruptive philosophy of governance, you know, whereby they should do things new. Because governance means try to bring up new ideas. You know, for instance, look at that corridor from Ugogonike to Opi. My brother, who said people can't inhabit that place? Who says it can turn into a new hub? You know, I would expect the State Housing Development Corporation to have new housing estates there for workers and all whatnot, so that by that way that place will get developed. Because you know, Alex, when that place gets developed, this issue of kidnapping will be reduced. Because these criminals they use on government spaces. By the time you look left and right now, you see houses there, you see industry and what have you now. They have no idea place to go and stay to perpetrate their crime. So that's why I expect. Likewise, even of other local government, likewise, even Eziagutu, my old boy says Engineer Dr. Vitaly. Of course, I also expect him to look into tourism. You know, they have waterfalls there. And mind you also that Eziag also shares the border with Anambra too. I expect them also to try and develop that place. What of Udi? Udi is also contiguous to Enugu Urban. We expect them to do new things there, you know, so that, for me, look at even from Foconos to Udi town, you know, where you have all those kidnapping and whatnot, because it is bush, but if they clean it up and have estates there, you know, then people can stay there and be coming to work here. I remember under Sullivan, you have this what they call the Sullivan bus, all those long shuttle buses now. My brother, I want to be able to stay in my town, Nenwe. From Nenwe to here is like 30-40 minutes drive. We're coming to work, people should be able to do that. Also, you have transportation. That is where I want this new chairman to focus. How can you develop your local government? How can you make it now to, because Enugu is the center. How can you draw your local government nearer to Enugu through development? Then you can partner with the international donor agencies and all that now. But you should have new ideas. It's not just for you to stay and pay salaries and then say you're building schools. We've had that before. We need new ideas. Because what I'm saying is that Governor Mba is bringing in new ideas. Look at the smart school. Look at GTC. My joy is that I'm personally attached to GTC because my father was the principal there from 81 to 85. So I know how GTC was. And now he's trying to give it a facelift. But what I also want is that it should be replicated across the 17 local governments. You know why? Because vocational education is what will help us now to create labor. But any person has built a house recently, you see that most of those who are engaged now, they're not even Igbos, not talking of being from Enugu. Either they're Yorubas or they're from Togo.
Okay.
Any of those small labor that you want to get done.
Yeah, you touched on quite a number of the local governments, but let me bring you back to the city, because you said that Enugu seems to be a one-city state.
Yes.
And we'll never stop talking about that city. Enugu North, Enugu South,
Enugu East.
Enugu East. These are the metropolitan local governments. In Enugu North, you have Iben Akono, who was in the House of Assembly. In Enugu East, you have beloved Dan Anike. And in Enugu South, you have Caleb Ani. So these are the three people who are they will have to start manning the three metropolitan local governments. The task before them is different from the task before others. So what do you expect to see from them as soon as they are sworn in?
First and foremost, even before they are sworn in, by now, expect them to be assembling their team. Because ideas rule the world. Even democracy is an idea. They haven't done that so that by the time they are sworn in, they will hit the ground running. So what I expect is, first and foremost, look at Enugu East, Enugu South. They are semi-urban, semi-rural. So I expect them to do much as per agro-industries. Because if they set up such industry now, it will be easy for them to do what? Supply the Enugu metropolis. You got the point? Yeah, so I expect them, then again, as for the issue of housing, I expect my friend and my brother, beloved Dan Anike, who were all involved in activism back then in school. In fact, I was there when he was elected as the SUG president of Nnamdi Azikiwe University in 99. Yes, and we were both engineers as well. So I expect him to do much as per the issue of housing estates, not just housing estates, but to have new layouts. You know, then there's this problem we have in the past, the issue of this Ogbane syndrome, whereby once you lack param, if the sake of your house is leaking, if you want to remove it, they come there and yes, I expect him to look at that because he's also a unique man.
We are running out of time. I need you to force in what will happen and also talk about today and where we have Aka as a Aka. We have a minute to do that, unfortunately.
Anyway, Aka is one of us. He's in the media industry and much is expected from him. Yes, we expect him to, just like I was saying, I'll try to see how to draw Udenu to Enugu, which is the center. How will he do that? But I try to partner with other neighboring local governments and try to introduce some industries, you know, because, mind you, Oba, which is the capital, because every city is funded on a function. Oba lies on the highway from Enugu to the north. That's right. So he can really do much to bring about industries there to increase his IGR. That's the advantage he has because Oba is on a major way.
Great.
Yes.
That's where we'll leave it. We'll continue this conversation as soon as they are sworn in, and then they give their speeches and we'll know what their programs are. Then
and their policies.
We'll look at it and dissect what they have. Thank you so much, Mazi Bismarck Orji, convener of the Southeast Good Governance Project, SAGOP. And to end the news here, here's a recap of our major stories. Governor Peter Mba has revealed his administration is currently executing over 1,000 landmark projects across Enugu State. President Tinubu has indicated his intention to reshuffle his cabinet. On business, we told you that the CBN has announced decision to sell foreign exchange worth $20,000 to the Bureau de Change operators. Also on the news, we told you elsewhere in the world, a Lebanese Prime Minister has implored the UN Security Council to act on Israel's bombardment of his country. Thank you for staying with us on the news today. Do follow us on all our social media platforms at Afia TV Official. I am Alex Obodo. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing.
For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.